Kelly here for Board Game Geek at Gen Con 50. I'm sitting down with Sarah Erickson from Renegade Game Studios, and you brought us a very hot title for here at Gen Con, which is Ex Libris.
Yeah, we have been so overwhelmed by the love that this game has gotten.
Yeah.
We had no idea. Like, I've loved this game since the moment I sat down to the prototype table and tried it, but I had no idea that other people loved books and libraries as a theme as much as I do, because my mom's a librarian. So oh my gosh, that's fantastic. My mother-in-law was a librarian too, so I just really love libraries.
Right, my sister-in-law is a librarian. I mean, this is a table of library lovers right here.
Well, and I kind of think that we're in a whole room of that, right? Because so many of us grew up loving books and enjoying gaining knowledge and using our brains, which is why we play board games. And so it should not have come as much of a surprise to me as it did that a library-themed game where you get to alphabetize books would be the most exciting thing ever.
I used to earn extra allowance money by like stamping and card cataloging books, like putting the pockets in the back before digital. Yeah. Summer money in our house.
Totally.
All right, I'm sure this is more fun than that chore though. So take us through what we're trying to accomplish.
So this is Ex Libris, and it's a worker placement game. But the very first thing you're going to do when you sit down is you get to choose which special character you're going to play.
I know, look at all of
And
these, right?
this is a 4-player game, so we really only needed to put 4 of them in the box, but we just don't do things like that.
I know, right? It's
So
just
we
not your
decided instead to have 12 different choices.
I love this, including the gelatinous cube.
Of course! Who doesn't want to play as a gelatinous cube? I'm only concerned that people are going to fight over this piece. But we do also have the bookworm, the Sasquatch, just the ghost, player characters
Snowman,
that you don't
the
see
wizard.
normally.
I know, right?
Yeah, there's so many good choices. So you pick your character, but then you're also going to have a set of generic gnomes, and it is a worker placement game, which means when you send your special character out to one of these available locations, it'll do the regular action, but then it gets to do something special. The rest of your actions you take that round are going to be with your regular generic book gnomes, and they're still going to get to do an action, it just won't have the extra power. And what you're doing in the game in general is trying to become a grand librarian by having the best library. So you send your minions
life
out.
goal for me also.
Yeah, exactly. Life goal for a lot of us. So we send out our minions and we collect books, which are all on these fabulous cards.
Which, and when you make a little stack of them, are also quite spectacular, since they look like this wonderful bookshelf that we all want to have in our house.
And if you read the names of these books, oh my gosh, they totally
Yesterday Never Can, Yes We Can Trip, Melt Any Object,
Who doesn't
Merman
want to own that
Overboard. Yeah, these are fabulous.
And they're all unique. You see these huge stacks of cards here. Every one of these cards has unique book names on them. So super fun, and you'll have a bunch of these cards in your hand, and when you place them into your own library, you always want to place them alphabetically, because it's hard to move them around once they're on there. You're trying to go really fast for the grand librarian coming in the future. So when you place it down, you have to place orthogonally adjacent to another card that's on your board, but you want to keep them in alphabetical order. So, for example, M, I can't place this into my board.
Yeah, because we got a little letter up in here in the top corner here. So.
Yeah, the little letter. And so on this board over here, I had already placed an L here and a P over there, which means there's no space in between for an M. So I maybe would have wanted to think about that. Some of the actions will let me move them, but for the most part, that just means I'm going to have a tough time using this card now. So when you're placing, you have to be very careful where you're placing your cards to keep them alphabetical, because
it seems like you have a WV line there. I feel like we might have an excellent place to place this Y.
So the Y we can definitely stick in there, and now that works out well. And at the end of the game, that's great, because we're going to be tested by the library inspector on what books we have in our library, and we're going to maybe have some secret books that we're trying to get.
Yep.
So I really
love the genre.
I really like monster manuals.
I really like historical volumes.
So you'll get bonus points for however many historical volumes are in your library. I'll get bonuses for monster manuals.
There's nice little icons on the top of these cards to tell you how many yellows, how many reds, how many greens.
That does help you decide and strategize. And then there's also going to be a banned book every round that everybody knows what it is, or they don't
I was
want
really
that
hoping
one
it was a BAND book. Not a BANNED book.
Unfortunately, Yeah, there's some fanfics in here. And then we also have prominent works. So there are some categories of books that we just really want to have in our library, and we'll get bonus points for those. We also get points for how stable our shelves are, because that's an important thing in a library. So I would get points, but only for these 4 because they're kind of in a block, whereas these are not supported. This one's not supported, so I'd only get 4 bonus points instead of a potential up to 12, because once somebody has 12 books in their library, they gave us a bonus.
Thank you so much.
So you play, you send your workers out, you add books to your shelves, get as many points with the different books as you can, and then someone will end up being a grand librarian.
And see, that would be the Cliff Notes edition of the Ex-Libris. Which, right? If you guys want to check that out, super hot title here at Gen Con, which is from Renegade Game Studios. And Sarah, I'm so excited you were able to give this the book love that it deserves.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great. And this will come out in October. Enjoy.